Is JJ going to be in Outer Banks Season 5? Rudy Pankow's return explained. Warning: major spoilers for Outer Banks Season 5. JJ Maybank is dead, and Rudy Pankow did not return as a regular cast member for Season 5. The creators have said JJ's death was deliberately written as the emotional foundation of the final season. However, Season 5 does keep JJ's presence alive through the memories, grief, and motivations of the remaining Pogues, and the Blue Crown creates a major question about whether the dead can actually be brought back. So, is JJ going to be in Season 5 of Outer Banks? The answer is complicated. If you're asking whether Rudy Pankow is returning as the living JJ Maybank, the answer is no. But if you're asking whether JJ is still part of Season 5, the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, JJ's death is arguably the single most important event driving the final season. The Pogues aren't simply beginning another treasure hunt. They're beginning Season 5 while grieving their best friend. And that changes everything. What happened to JJ? Let's go back to the Season 4 finale. The Pogues finally reach Morocco while searching for the legendary Blue Crown. They've already gone through enormous danger to get there. But the biggest threat isn't the treasure itself. It's Chandler Groff. Groff is revealed to be JJ's biological father, and their relationship becomes increasingly dangerous. When the Pogues finally locate the Blue Crown, JJ manages to reach it first. For a moment, it looks like everything might actually work out, but Groff catches up with them. He threatens Kiera. JJ is forced to hand over the crown. And then Groff does something horrifying. He stabs his own son. JJ dies from his injuries. The Pogues are left devastated. Netflix's official Season 4 recap confirms that Groff kills JJ with a pocket knife before escaping with the Blue Crown. That is where Season 5 begins. Not with JJ waking up. Not with a surprise rescue. But with the remaining Pogues trying to figure out how to continue without him. Did Rudy Pankow return? This is where the latest information is especially important. Rudy Pankow, who played JJ throughout the series, is not part of the main Season 5 cast. Netflix's official Season 5 cast information lists Chase Stokes as John B., Madeline Klein as Sarah, Madison Bailey as Kiera, Jonathan Davis as Pope, Carlacia Grant as Cleo, and Drew Starkey as Rafe, but Pankow isn't included among the returning main cast. And that's not simply because Netflix is trying to hide a surprise. Pankow has also spoken publicly about his departure. In March 2026, he discussed the upcoming final season and said he intended to watch it, explaining that he wanted to see how the show handled its ending after JJ's death. The creators have also been remarkably clear about the purpose of JJ's death. Josh Pate described it as a hard but necessary part of the story's architecture. He said the 5th season would be about redemption and would embody the friendship JJ represented. That's a very important statement. It means JJ's death wasn't written simply as a shock ending. It was designed to change the entire final season. But could JJ come back? This is where things get interesting. Because Outer Banks Season 5 introduces something that has caused fans to question whether JJ could somehow return. It's the Blue Crown. The legend surrounding the crown says that it has the power to bring back the dead. And Kiera becomes particularly interested in that possibility. The Season 5 trailer explicitly plays with the idea of resurrection. Kiera tells the others about the legend, and the possibility of bringing someone back from the dead becomes part of their motivation. Naturally, fans immediately asked, is this how JJ returns? It is one of the biggest theories surrounding the final season. But there's a major reason to be cautious. The creators have repeatedly described JJ's death as an important and permanent turning point. And Pankow wasn't brought back as a regular cast member. So, while the show may explore the idea of bringing JJ back, that doesn't automatically mean we're going to see JJ resurrected. The Blue Crown could be a legend. It could be a false hope. Or it could become an important part of the show's mythology without actually reversing JJ's death. And that's probably the more likely interpretation. Could JJ appear in flashbacks? This is much more plausible. Even if JJ is dead, the show can still bring Rudy Pankow back through memories or flashbacks. And there is a huge amount of material the writers could revisit. JJ's friendship with John B., his relationship with Kiera, his bond with Pope, his complicated relationship with Sarah, his history with his father, and all the adventures the Pogues experience together. The emotional purpose of Season 5 is partly about what JJ meant to these people. So even without physically returning, JJ can remain present throughout the season. Recent reporting has also noted the possibility of JJ appearing through flashbacks or other non-present-day sequences, although a major resurrection has not been confirmed. And that would actually fit the story better. The creators aren't trying to erase JJ. They're trying to show what happens when the person who held the group together is suddenly gone. Why is JJ so important to Season 5? Because JJ wasn't just another member of the Pogues. He was arguably the emotional heart of the group. Madeline Klein has described JJ as the heart of Outer Banks, while Jonathan Davis has called him essentially the embodiment of what it means to be a Pogue. That's why his death affects everyone differently. Kiera wants revenge. She doesn't simply want Groff stopped. She wants him to pay for killing JJ. John B. has lost one of his closest friends. And because John B. and JJ have been through so much together, JJ's death becomes deeply personal for him. Pope is also grieving. JJ was one of the people who stood beside him through some of the most dangerous moments of his life. And Sarah and Cleo are dealing with the same loss while trying to keep the group together. The Pogues are therefore entering the final season as a damaged group. That is very different from the beginning of the series. What is the Pogues' mission in Season 5? Their mission is essentially twofold. First, they want revenge against Chandler Groff. Second, they want to recover the Blue Crown. Netflix's official synopsis says the Pogues begin Season 5 at their breaking point after JJ's death. They're stranded far from home. They've lost the crown. Groff is still alive. Dahlia and the Corsairs are pursuing them. And the Kooks have made it difficult for them to return home. They also form an uneasy alliance with Rafe Cameron. That alliance is particularly interesting. Rafe spent much of the series as an enemy of the Pogues. Now he's fighting alongside them.
Why?
Because Groff is a threat to everyone. And JJ's death has created a situation where old rivalries suddenly matter less than survival. Does the Blue Crown actually bring JJ back? This is one of the biggest questions of Season 5. And the safest answer is, don't assume it does. The show deliberately uses the legend to create hope. Kiera wants to believe there's a way to bring JJ back. The others may want to believe it too. But that doesn't mean the supernatural claim is actually true. It could be another legend surrounding a treasure. And Outer Banks has always played with myths and legends without necessarily making every supernatural claim literally true. So the Blue Crown could ultimately serve another purpose. It could give the Pogues something to fight for. It could represent their inability to let JJ go. Or it could become the final treasure that brings the entire adventure to a conclusion. But if you're expecting JJ to suddenly appear alive halfway through Season 5, there's currently no solid evidence that this is happening. Why did the creators kill JJ? This may be the most important question. The creators didn't kill JJ simply because they wanted a shocking cliffhanger. Josh Pate has explained that JJ's death was a deliberate storytelling decision designed to set up an epic fifth and final season. The final season is supposed to be about redemption and friendship. And JJ's death becomes the thing that forces the remaining characters to grow up. That's particularly important because Outer Banks has always been about adventure. The characters keep surviving impossible situations. They keep finding treasure. They keep escaping death. But Season 5 is forcing them to confront something they cannot simply escape from.
Death.
They've lost one of their own. And this time, there may not be a way to undo it. That's a much more mature ending for the series. Could Rudy Pankow still appear? We shouldn't completely rule out a brief appearance without seeing every episode and production detail. Television shows can use flashbacks, archival footage, dreams, and other storytelling devices. And because JJ is such a central part of the group's history, it would be surprising if Season 5 didn't revisit him in some way. But there's a huge difference between JJ appears in Season 5
and
JJ comes back to life. The first is entirely possible. The second is currently unconfirmed and appears much less likely. The official Season 5 story treats JJ as deceased. Netflix's synopsis describes the Pogues as mourning his loss and seeking to avenge their best friend. That wording is important. Netflix isn't describing JJ as missing. They're describing him as lost. So, is JJ going to be in Season 5? The best answer is JJ is not returning as a living member of the Pogues. Rudy Pankow is not returning as a regular cast member, and the story begins with JJ's death as a permanent emotional event. But JJ is absolutely still part of Season 5. His death drives the plot. His memory motivates Kiera and the others. His friendship continues to shape John B., Pope, Sarah, and Cleo. And the Blue Crown introduces a mysterious possibility that the show intentionally wants viewers to question. Could the crown really bring him back? That's the big question. But until the show provides definitive proof, it's better to view the resurrection idea as a storyline and fan theory rather than confirmation that JJ will return alive. And honestly, JJ's absence may be the point. For 4 seasons, the Pogues always had JJ. Now they don't. And the final season asks whether the group can survive without the person who often held them together. That's why his presence can still be felt in every episode even if Rudy Pankow isn't physically there. JJ Maybank's story may have ended with Chandler Groff's knife in Morocco. But his story doesn't simply disappear. His friends carry it forward. And as the Pogues begin their final adventure, their mission isn't just about treasure anymore. It's about honoring the friend they lost, getting revenge on the man who killed him. JJ may be gone from the group, but he is still at the heart of their final ride.